How hard do I need to train? This is a question you get all the time, okay? Do I need to go to failure? Do I need to be training every day? Let's break it down now. Let's answer this question for good, okay? Because I get this question all the time. Whatever you decide, make sure you can repeat it in your next session and improve the next week in terms of what you achieved by achieving more reps, more hold time, or better technique. I do not mind if someone starts their training and they're training just 2 times per week. If in the next week they're improving by 1 rep, 2 reps, 2 seconds longer, or their technique is better, that is improvement. Of course, in the long run, you want them to build towards more frequent sessions and be able to do more sets, but that is the goal. If you're putting everything into one session where you're doing the hardest exercises, all unassisted, all to failure, and in your next workout, you can't repeat that same effort, it's too much, okay? You're training too hard. Just circle back to the golden rule again. Train as frequently as possible, as intense as possible, get as specific as possible, while being able to recover. It's important to be able to recover because you need to do it again. You can't just do it once. With training again, you need to do the difficult things over some period of time frequently enough to give your body a reason to get stronger. So this part of the video is going to be a little bit more in detail in terms of how hard do I train in terms of hold time or reps. Should I be doing 20 reps, 10 reps? What do I put in the workout when I have full planche push-ups or band assisted type planche push-up? Again, there's no hard answer for this. Really, I need to know more about the person, but here's a very general guideline. So for hold time, unassisted, aim for 2 to 8 seconds, okay? In that range, you're going to be working on your strength, you're going to be working on your technique, because within 2 seconds it is hard because you're just entering into the position, but over time that will easily become 3. The more you do it, 2 seconds I think is the bare minimum. You're in it, you're 0, 1, 2, and you're out of the hold. I think that's the bare minimum. If you're just in it, 0, 1, that's not enough time to even take a breath in. So you need to have some amount of time under tension if you're doing something unassisted. 2 to 8 second range is great for unassisted hold. You can aim for 6 seconds, 8 seconds, 3 if it's a new movement, and then you can go to assisted exercises. The assisted exercises, 4 to 16 seconds. The reason is because now you can build that time under tension. A lot of the strength you're going to build is by building time under tension. The reason why we want to increase reps or sets week on week is because that's more volume. Again, more reason for the body to adapt and get stronger to the movement. So that's why for me, assisted, I aim for much higher hold time, usually double what I'm doing unassisted. Now, reps. Okay, reps, this can be a wide range, anywhere between 1 to 12. It depends on the goal, whether you're working on, okay, it's just a light movement for more of a pump because it's a rehab, or it's an accessory because I'm working on a weakness, or it could be 1 rep because I'm working on technique in, let's say, a tuck planche push-up to hold. I just want to do 1 rep clean and focusing on the technique. Or sometimes, okay, I'm doing 5 reps a little bit sloppy, but I'm working on speed. So honestly, that one really depends. For that one, you're gonna need context on whatever you're focusing on. But again, if any of you guys need help, put in the comments, or let me know if you want a video on reps, hold time, and sets, how to program that. Let me know in the comments if that's a video you want. So I'll have a look at the comments and see what everyone's wanting. Final thing about how hard should you train is, should you train to failure? This is something that I love talking about, which is proximity to failure. How hard should you train? So in my opinion, perform your reps or hold as long as you can before hitting technical failure or close to hitting technical failure. I made a reel on my Instagram, the Jack Vegan with an underscore. I made a video in the context of planche about how I do this. So it's really good if you want to understand this concept, go to that reel. I will again put a link in the description. Everything will be in the description. I break it down in a very short format there. It's easiest to show you what I mean by technical failure. Technical failure is subjective. It is when your form breaks down by a significant amount, where you say, okay, the technique is no longer at an adequate level. But you need to do this in a safe way where you're not increasing your risk of injury. So go watch that reel because I break it down there, and in the caption of that reel I also have an explanation, so read that. That should answer your question about how hard should you train in terms of failure, and it also goes over form. But quickly, I do want to talk about form very quick. There is a trap a lot of people have talked about recently within calisthenics. It's kind of becoming a thing where, okay, doing stuff in bad form, mainly with static movements, doing stuff in bad form is the way to get to good form, which of course is true. Your first pancake is never the best. My first planche was horrible in terms of form, but that's how you do it. Your first muscle up is probably terrible, but that's how you do it first. The second time gets better. 2 months down the line, it gets better. The main thing here is I want to break down the traps. Don't fall into the good form trap, but also avoid the bad form trap. So what's the good form trap? The good form trap is being so strict with your technique that you don't allow yourself to push harder than last time. You want to be able to improve your technique, especially in the bulk of your workout. You want to be improving that technique or have exercises that are going to help you with improving that technique, or the weaknesses, because usually issues with technique is usually a weakness somewhere. You don't want it to hold you back from pushing harder than last time. I could never get to plus 10 seconds of a planche hold if I didn't have a couple 5-4 seconds at the end of the set of relatively bad form. You're getting close to technical failure, but not really surpassing that where you're increasing your risk of injury. Don't fall into that good form trap where you're trying to improve your technique, but you're not pushing harder than last time. You can do both at the same time. You can improve your technique by entering with good form, but then the last couple seconds, you're pushing harder than last time. Obviously, not causing injury. Don't do anything like that. The final thing is the bad form trap with technique. Obviously, I've seen many people now, they realize, okay, I can use bad form to my advantage and keep doing stuff in bad form, and eventually I'll improve. Which is true, but there's been some people where I've seen them actually training. They've been in bad form for like 3 years. So pro. Like, you need to spend some dedicated amount of time to actually improve that form. It doesn't just happen on its own. You need to have some dedicated time improving the technique. It doesn't just happen by doing bad form, bad form, bad form, bad form forever, and magically in one session without trying, you do good form. You need to actually have some time where you're saying, okay, now I'm gonna reduce or change what I do, and now I'm gonna work on the good form. So you need to specifically have that period of time within your program where you're working on good form. I have a video where I did this in my planche. I had a full planche which was bad form, and I realized it was not getting better. No matter how much I kept doing my planche, I could never protract in it until I had to take a step back, change my training, and then my form actually started to increase. So don't get into that bad form trap, because I have actually been in it, and that is a trap I think a lot of people nowadays are going to get into more than the good form trap. Now people know, okay, good form, I don't have to do good form all the time. But remember, don't do bad form all the time. That is a really important topic, so again, leave me your comments down below. What do you think about that? Quick recap on what should you do. So make sure you train as specific as possible, as intense as possible, as frequently as possible, while being able to recover. Whatever you decide, make sure that you can repeat it for your next session or next week and improve, and by achieving more reps, better hold time, or better technique. Remember to set rep ranges or hold times based on your session's goals. So again, if you want to build strength or muscle, that's going to change things. If you want to work on your explosiveness, or you're doing one rep clean, or you're doing multiple reps a little bit faster, so it's going to be a little bit more sloppy in terms of the form. So make sure you know, okay, what's the goal for that session? Then that's going to give you an idea of what rep ranges and hold times to pick. And the final thing we haven't really talked about yet is achieve more reps / holds each week using different training methods. Now, training is not linear. You will not be able to go 1 rep, 2 reps, 3 reps, 4 reps, 5 reps indefinitely up to 100 reps in a straight line. Your training progress is not linear. That means you're going to have to use some methods to help you improve. You will slow down in progress. You get what I'm saying? So the progress is not linear. There will be some slowdown, but you can use some methods so each week you are seeing progress in some way. Make sure you avoid the good form and bad form traps, and that is a quick summary of what you've been over. Now let's talk a little bit about how you can improve week to week, because like I just said, progress is not linear. A lot of you guys will be in this situation where you're saying, okay, I had progress, good progress at the start, but now it's just not happening. Okay, what do I do? So understand this. Best progress in strength and muscle occurs when each set is challenging. Just make sure you understand that fact about training. As you train correctly, you get stronger and the same set will get less challenging. You need to increase the intensity reps sets to keep the sets challenging and keep making progress. That is why week to week it is so important that we try to improve and push harder than last time. I got this from a guy called Greg Dissett, and that's really something that stuck with me. It's just something very simple: push harder than last time. That is it. There are different ways so you can push harder than last time, because like I said, it's not possible to do an unassisted hold and keep increasing by 2 seconds each week. It's not really realistic. Sometimes it happens for a good couple of weeks, but you know, usually it slows down. So you can use things like mechanical drop sets, going from a straddle planche to a tuck planche, something like this. You're making the movement easier so that you can keep continuing the set, and then you can push harder. So by making it easier, it's much more achievable for you to, you know, increase those reps. You can use assistance drop sets. You can also do reps. You can pause and then continue the reps, then you rest. Okay, so that's called a cluster set. You can do every minute on the minute training, where you do a certain amount of reps, let's say 2 reps of a dynamic movement every minute for, let's say, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. You set a certain amount of time. Next week you try and get 16 minutes of doing every minute on the minute. You're basically increasing your volume by doing it that way with a movement you're already somewhat comfortable with, but you want to work on. There's so many different methods. These are all called progressive overload methods. Again, if you want a video breaking down those more, because I can only really touch on those for a little bit, let me know down in the comments. But just know those are some of the methods you can use to improve week on week. And then obviously over time, by doing that, your unassisted hold, which is what you really want to improve, will improve also. Now, a common question I get is, what do I do if I'm not getting stronger? Let's say someone tells me I've not been getting stronger for the past 3 months. You know, progress has really slowed down. So many people come to me with that comment in my DMs on Instagram. What do? Well, the issue is you're not following, or something has gone wrong in the golden rule. Either you're not training intense enough, or frequently enough, or specific enough, or you're not recovering. And the last part of that is you're not pushing harder than last time. Like I said, remember, you will get used to doing a certain set. I need to then make that set harder to give my body a reason to get stronger. Training at the end of the day is always that, and that's why the golden rule is so important. By following the golden rule, you're giving your body a reason to adapt to a new movement. So if you look at the golden rule, you're still not sure what is going wrong with your training, then just reach out for help. Message me on Instagram or check the link in the description. If you're over 18, fill out the coaching application form and we can set up a free consultation. Then we can go over that specific issue. I can build you an initial plan, and then obviously, if you like, we can talk about the coaching as well. From there, it's a little bit more specific to what exactly have you been doing? Do you have injuries, etc.? Can't really answer that for everyone. But of course, I'd be glad to help you. You know, if not, check my other videos. There's so many other videos that answer this question. What do you do if you're not getting stronger? I have other programs as well that I've used in the past that are on there. Again, those are a bit outdated now. People still find them useful, so check those out if not, but I'd be glad to help you guys. And let's go over some of the results I've gotten people. Again, a lot of people have reached out for help from me. This is what I do. I've been doing this the last 3 years with handstand push-up. Again, on screen, you'll probably be seeing some guys doing handstand push-ups, planches. Within a couple weeks, they can see really good progress in their form, technique, hold time, sometimes all three. So you need to get yourself a program that works, because it all comes down to the program, but also your recovery, your nutrition, and pushing harder than last time. I always say, like, you don't know what you don't know. Sometimes I never knew certain things about the planche until someone told me, okay? So I will be able to tell you the things that, you know, no one has told you, because there was plenty of videos I watched on YouTube. Bro, I've watched so much YouTube, but many things that just aren't said in YouTube videos, and obviously there's things I haven't said in this YouTube video that I can't until you go through a proper coaching process and I know exactly what is going to help you. Final part of the video, when do you need to rest? So deloads, rest days, the balance between training and recovery, okay? Because it's a balance, it's a two-sided coin. You need the training, but you need the recovery. If you don't have that side of the coin, it's not a coin. And I was going to say something like, well, what do we do if we have no coins? Well, I guess we're just in chaos, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, when do you need to rest? So you get stronger when you rest, not when you train. Big thing you need to keep in your mind, the golden rule, push harder than the last time, and you get stronger when you rest, not when you train. Training is just a stimulus. Remember those. If there's anything to remember from this video, remember that. So signs you need to rest, you can see all these on screen. This might mean you take one extra rest day. Let's say your technique is worse than usual, like significantly worse than usual. Let's say you had more than 2 bad workouts in a row, and I mean like really bad workouts. I usually say about 70% of your workouts are going to be majorly average. You will not feel like that was a great workout. 15% you will feel like, oh, that was an amazing workout. I did better holds, my technique was better. 15% of your workouts are going to feel like that. Then 15% of your workouts, 1-5, is going to be like, okay, that was terrible. I couldn't hold, like, you know, it was bad. Okay, that is pretty normal for your training, but in the long run, you will see progress. I can't tell you how often I'm talking to my girlfriend after a training session, I'm like, yeah, it was a mid-session, but really, like, I'm doing much better than I did 2 months ago. So that's just how training is and how it feels. The final thing I want to mention about rest is rest when you need to. If you are training and you are super fresh, keep training, but always start with less and then increase from there. There's no point overtraining first and then making that massive mistake, and then you have to undo a load of that fatigue you just built up, or maybe even you have slight injuries because you overtrained. You know, start with less and then build up, okay? So that is it with the basics of programming. Obviously, I wanted to keep it simple, so let me know what you want me to go into more detail down in the comments, and if this was helpful. It's a little bit of a different style, a little bit more informative, so let me know if this was a good thing that you guys enjoyed and if you want more. But if you guys want to take the pain out of making your own program and you're still a little bit confused and you just want to start off with a program that works for you, optimize your training and not waste any more time, then just reach out in the description below. I'll be glad to help you out. Again, you can see on screen a load of the students that had great progress. And yes, I think a lot of you guys send me messages that the free programs I have on my YouTube channel have already helped you. So just imagine what I can do if we really sit down and talk about your training and I build you a personal dedicated program. So that is it for now. Let me know if this was a useful video. I mean, leave it a like. I don't really usually ask for likes in videos, but that would just give me a sense if this style of video is still helpful in 2025. I don't know.